Hello everyone. In this lesson, we're going to start using Bootstrap in our application. So let's get started. So let's go to the source code folder where we have our application, and let's open command prompt from there, and let's start our application from there. And while it's doing that, let's go ahead and open our application from Visual Studio Code as well. Now we're going to use Bootstrap as a CSS library. So what is Bootstrap? Bootstrap is a free and open source CSS framework, and it allows it was initially developed by some Twitter engineers and backed by Twitter, but it is a open source framework. And what it allows is that you can create responsive website using Bootstrap. You can include Bootstrap in your application, and then you can start referencing to the CSS rules that they have described in their CSS library. So let's see an example. If we search for Bootstrap, you will be able to go to the page where they have the introduction to Bootstrap and then how to incorporate Bootstrap. And as you can see, the navigation here, it is like suitable for desktop application, right? But this is using Bootstrap, and the way they wrote the CSS for is that it is responsive, and if the width of your page changes, or if you're using that in a mobile website, it will automatically change the appearance of the page. And as you saw that the navigation got changed, and then everything in the page got changed as well. So this is the benefit of using Bootstrap. You are getting this kind of responsiveness automatically in your website. So let's see how we can include Bootstrap in our application. If you click in Get Started, they will give you a way to incorporate Bootstrap in your website through CDN. So CDN is the full for CDN is Content Delivery Network. So it's basically a hosted place where they have the required CSS and JavaScript for Bootstrap, and you can reference to that from your document. So you don't need to have those files. You can just create references like this. When we did discuss CSS, we talked about embedding CSS from a different file. Now here we are doing the same thing, but the file is not even in our folder. It's in a remote location. So we can follow that approach. So let's copy the CSS library, and now if we go to our source code, and if we go to the index.html file, you can see here that a typical HTML page, and in the head section we can now paste that link, and now the CSS Bootstrap CSS is included in our page. Next, let's go ahead and also include the JavaScript, which is used for some navigation and other cases where there are some JavaScript related responsibilities needed. So let's copy that and let's include that there as well. Now that we have this, so our page is actually ready to start using Bootstrap. So if you go to our application, in browser, you will see that the font started looking different. So it started using the Bootstrap's default font. So to see a more noticeable example, let's look at Bootstrap forms. And we can see an example of Bootstrap form here, and we can actually try using that in our application. So we can copy the code from here, and we'll make the necessary modification as needed. So now we can go back to our code and we can open the login component, and in the HTML, currently it just says login works, which comes as by default when we created it. Now we can paste the form here to see Bootstrap is being useful in our application. Now if we go to our application and if we change the address to login, we'll see that the login form is there and it's using the similar style as Bootstrap shown here, similar kind of button and form fields, etc. So now our application is ready to start using Bootstrap. Thank you.